to be using up our scraps paper and making a thank you card. So I have a lot of tools in front of me here, and I'll go through them with you. You don't have to use all of them, but since I have them in my stash, I thought I'll just go ahead and use them. So, you know, pick and choose, and you can make your card how you'd like. But I have some glue dots, which I'm going to use as my adhesive. I have microfine glitter, and this is Pearlex. And the kind I'm using is Interference Violet. Then I have my Versamark stamp pad. I'm going to be using a Spectrum Noir alcohol marker. I'm going to be using my Brother labeling system. Put that off to the side for a moment. I have a floral stamp. It can be any stamp. I have a small piece of black cardstock, and then with a white piece that inserts in there for writing on. And then lastly, I have this from We Are Memory Keepers, this Washi Chomper. And this will make these little angled type ends. Alright, so to get started, I'm going to use my black cardstock, my Versamark pad, my stamp, and my Interference mica powder. So just to take the lids off of the Versamark, and I'm going to stamp. I'm inking up my stamp and just stamping it all over the front of the black card. Now you can't see much because this is a clear sticky ink on a black surface. So hopefully, I mean, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. Maybe there, there you can see some of it. And I'm just randomly stamping this and turning it different directions each time I stamp it. Just give it a little wiggle, make sure you have good coverage. And I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to take my mica powder here, and I'm just going to use my fingertip. So with just a little bit on my fingertip, now I'm going to rub it over where the areas that I stamped. Alright, you should be able to wipe most of it off, the excess off with your finger, and hopefully you can see how that is shining in the light and picking up the interference from the powder. Now if you have a little too much on there, you can just take a dry tissue and just go over your surface to get the excess off. Alright, so there is the front pattern on my card, and I'm going to just use the glue dots to attach this on the inside. Make sure I get it the right way. Okay. Alright, so that's done, and then the last thing we're going to do is print out a label. And I've chosen to print out thanks. I've already typed that out, and I'm going to print. And it's printing out on a white laminated piece of label. So I'm going to cut that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just take a scrap piece of cardstock here. I have some notes written on. I'm going to put my label there, and I'm going to use the wide end of my marker. Now this is an alcohol ink marker, so any alcohol ink marker would work just fine. And I'm going to go over this real quick with 2 strokes because that's what it needs to cover it. If you get a blending line like I did, you can go over that until you're happy with what it looks like. Alright. So you want to wait for that to dry, and same as the front of the card. If you're worried about the surface, you can take your dry tissue and just rub over that and take any excess off. And you can see that it kind of changed things for me. I'm not going to use that much of the label, so the striping there doesn't bother me. So you can see how that color coordinates with the front of my card. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this washi tape chomper, and I'm just going to put my tape in here until I'm just about where the word is going to touch this edge here. Now, let me show you. This opens up to whatever size tape you have that you're going to put in there, okay? So I have already determined the size of this just by pinching it in and lining things up, making sure everything's nice and straight, pulling it back out to where my letters start, and then I am just going to chomp down on that. Pull that out. You can see I've got the flag shape, and now I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. So I've lined that up, and now I'm just going to pull it back until my type is right. Oops. Let's try that again. I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to pull it back until my type is right about there. And then I'm going to give it a chomp. Alright, now the nice thing about using these is that you could create these ahead of time and set them aside if you wanted. But the nice thing about the label tape is that you can just pinch it and then peel the backing off. Now if you want your ends to go the other direction, you just put it in the chomper the other direction. So you would have a point here instead of a flag end. And now bringing in my card again and decide where I want to put this. Do I want it down at the bottom? Do I want to go across the angle? I'm going to put it down here at the bottom, going right across one of those flowers. And there, my thank you card is ready to go on my gift. And that was just quick and easy, using up scraps and materials that I already had in my stash. And like I said, if you don't have all of these things, like let's say you don't have the label maker, use your sentiment another way. Do a stamp, handwriting on a piece of paper, however you would like. So I hope you found this fun and a different way to use your stamps, your Versamark, with some mica powder instead of embossing.